Buongiorno, buongiorno. Well, first of all, I want to welcome you all to City Hall. I want to, first of all, thank you for coming here today. I do apologize for doing this inside, but all flag raisings this year, because of the construction, out of abundance of caution, will be inside. But next year, we will be back outside. It will be a beautiful day. I want to thank several people that are here. I know Senator Mike Brady is en route. He'll be joining us soon. I see the Dean of the City Council, former Councilor Dennis Ianeri. Dennis, thank you for being here. I know. Tim Sullivan, Ward 7 School Committee member. Tim, thank you for being here. The City Clerk, Tim Cruz, thank you for being here today, Mr. Cruz. Brian Nardelli, the Fire Chief, a proud Italian. Thank you, Brian, for being here today. I want to thank my team in the Mayor's office. I'm just going to say first names. We have John, we have Alicia, we have Stephanie, we have Jasmine, we have Celia, we have Kevin, we have Joseph. I want to give a shout out to Joseph because he just went to George Montilio's. Joe just went to Montilio's and got the cannolis, so we're good on that. I want to thank Courtney. I want to thank Suzanne. I want to thank my son, William, for joining us, who's half Italian. All right, William. So at this time, I'm going to ask Darlene Campesano to please come up. We're going to open this up with, Darlene is the Vice President of the Sons and Daughters of Italy. We're going to open it up with a prayer of St. Francis, please.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
I'd like to thank all the city and school employees that are here as well. I learned something that Bill Forti is Italian, so Bill, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. When I asked him, he said, Forte, Forte. That's what you said, Forte, Forte. So I'm just so proud to be here. I really enjoy this day. I want to thank Jackie Bonarengo, President of the Sons and Daughters of Italy, for being here, and you'll hear from Jackie in just a little bit. But if you are a member of the Sons and Daughters, could you kindly raise your hand? We are really honored that you're here today to mark this really, really special day. As many of you know, I'm Irish, and I'm proud Irishman, but I married an unbelievable 100% Italian, Maria Francesca Luisi. So it's the best of both worlds, right? I can drink a Guinness, but I know how to eat unbelievable pasta now, too, so that's a wonderful thing. But I'm really grateful to have you all here today as we commemorate a really, really special day. The history of Brockton and the history of the Italians that immigrated here to the city of Brockton is without question a part of our city's history. A lot of Italians came here from all around Italy to work in our shoe factories. Of course, we could talk about some famous Brocktonians of Italian descent, Rocky Maggiano at the time. We could talk about the Petronelli brothers, but it's really all of the wonderful families that made Brockton their home, their home away from Italy, right? And a lot of family members that stayed at the home country eventually would immigrate here. And again, it was really the catalyst for the shoe industry. We also have unbelievable Italian masons. This building we're in right now was constructed with a lot of efforts from the Italian masons that learned their crafts back home in Italy. So I wanted to thank the elected officials for joining us. I want to, first of all, also, before I read the proclamation, John Messia. John is the most proud Italian I've ever met in my life. Today, yes. And his mom and dad couldn't be here today, but John's dad, John, was a decorated, for many, many years, for decades, Boston police officer. So if we could just remember Mr. Messia today. But John, could you mind showing, this is show and tell, do you mind showing the crowd what you wore today? Because it's phenomenal. And you know what, if you do it there, BCA won't catch it and it won't be on TV. But John, please, it's phenomenal.
It says Italia. Viva Italia.
So, you know, I'm really excited to showcase Italy today. As Brockton has always been a city of immigrants, always, right, from all around the world. And when you come into the mayor's office, you'll see all the different flags. We've acquired over 92 flags to really showcase the diversity in the city of Brockton. But when we talk about the Italians that came to Brockton, they've done so much over the decades. From, again, masonry work to business to education to athletics to business. And really, when you think about Brockton, at least when I grew up, you thought of the Tattaglia family, right? Everybody went to George's. And of course, we've lost Louis and we've lost Charlie and we've lost Hank. So over time, what we aren't losing is the history of Brockton. That's why the Sons and Daughters is extremely important. It's not just an Italian organization, it's an organization embedded in the fabric of Brockton. So at this time, Jackie, in her capacity of president, I'd love you to come to the podium and share some words.
Hello, everybody. Mayor Sullivan and your staff. See if I get everybody. I missed someone last year. Mike Brady, Senator Brady. My school committee man, Tim Sullivan. Thank you. Former Dennis Ianieri, former counselor, and Tim Cruz, of course. Thank you. And my fellow lodge members, thank you for coming, and my fellow Italians, and all those who want to be Italian, thank you. And of course, my granddaughter, Abby. Okay, so we have we have William and Abby, and my daughter, and my future son-in-law is here too from Las Vegas. He just moved here from Brockton, and I brought him over to vote. I registered him. Yeah, and my daughter is coming on Wednesday, so she will get her registered. She'll be back. So anyway, happy Italian Heritage Month, everybody. Today we begin reflecting on our Italian culture, enriched by 3,000 years of faith, determination, and creativity. We are truly blessed to be part of a people that built empires, created our alphabet, gave saints, explored new worlds, enriched the world's palate, were philosophers and mathematicians. We defined what it means to have unshakable family bonds. All of this came from a small nation whose geography is the size of Arizona, and we continue to mystify and seduce the world through our physicists, our businessmen, our sport, and our generosity. We and over 20 million Italian Americans are part of this grand adventure, this epic family story of a people that continues to inspire the world. Together, we will build the next chapter of Italian civilization. We will be worthy of that call propelled by the great spirit of Cristoforo Columbus that led our ancestors here centuries ago. Thank you for recognizing Italian Heritage Month and for letting me be the representative for all Italian Americans from Brockton. I am truly humbled and greatly honored. So thank you again. And if anyone wants to join the Sons and Daughters of Italy, you can talk to any of our members or myself, and you're welcome to join. And thank you very much. I'm not from Brockton, and Mike will say, you're not a Brocktonian because you didn't grow up here, but my kids did, and they went to Brockton High. So it's like being adopted. I adopted Brockton, so, and that means more. So I love Brockton, and thank you very much for letting me be here.
At this time, I'm going to ask our esteemed Senator Mike Brady to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'm just honored to be here to celebrate Italian Heritage Month with all our good friends of Italian heritage, and as the mayor mentioned, we have a lot of rich history, not only the names that were mentioned, the Marcianos and the Tatalias, but the Colombo family made great contributions, not only in sports, but also Lou Colombo, who was a great musician from Brockton, and Vinnie Macrina, who was a world-renowned, not only a great music teacher at Brockton for many, many years, but he's a great musician as well. So there's many, many great Italians who have been born and raised in Brockton, especially in Wood, too, where most of us lived in the neighborhoods over there. So God bless you all, and La Dolce Vita.
Tim Sullivan on behalf of the school committee. You got Brady, Sullivan, and Sullivan talking in Italian there. I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not Italian, but I'm Irish, but I'm proud to be here and proud to celebrate the flag raising of the Italian people. And thanks for having me. Thank you.
So again, I just want to say today is a special day. I'm going to be reading the mayoral proclamation, but I have had the honor and privilege to marry into a really wonderful Italian family, Luisi family. And Paul Luisi Sr. owned Luisi's Shoe here in the city of Brockton, which was the grandfather of my wife, Maria. And they were able to build a lot of special shoes during World War II, but more importantly during Korea and Vietnam. And my father-in-law, and I'm going to ask you to keep him in your thoughts. He hasn't been well recently, but Anthony Luisi, Tony Luisi, really, really proud Italian-American who became the deputy superintendent of schools here in the city of Champions, an educator, used to be the principal at Kennedy School. My mother-in-law, Lorraine, is a Thomaselli here in Brockton. That name may ring a bell to some of the older Brocktonians. Thomaselli Square is dedicated to her Uncle Joe, who got blown up over Kiel, Germany during World War II on a bombing mission. But we all have our own connections to the city of Brockton, and I talked to Brian Nardelli. I just asked Brian today, I'm heading to the Bronx this weekend. My son Tommy is running in a cross-country race, an invitational, and I asked him, I said, Chief, what are some of the great Italian restaurants on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx? He gave me like 6 in a matter of seconds, so I'm excited about that. But at this time, I would love to read the mayoral proclamation, and I'm going to present it to Jackie in her capacity as president on behalf of the sons and daughters. Jackie, Darlene. Mayoral proclamation, whereas United States Congress designated the month of October in the year 1989 as Italian American Heritage and Cultural Month to recognize all Italian Americans' contributions to the culture and economy of the United States of America, whereas Italian American immigrants dedicated and productivity in the city's shoe factories contributed to Brockton being deemed the shoe city in the early 1900s. Whereas the athletic prowess and boxing career of the undisputed and undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Rocco Francis Marchigiano, Rocky Marciano, contributed to Brockton's moniker, City of Champions. Whereas the historical links between Italy and the United States have been strengthened by the presence of Brockton's Italian residents, elected officials, and business owners. Whereas the contributions of Italian immigrants and the descendants in the area of education, law, medicine, athletics, science, and industry have transformed and greatly enriched our fine country. Now, therefore, I, Robert F. Sullivan, as mayor of the city of Brockton, proudly proclaim October 2024 in our fine city of Brockton, Mass. as Italian American Heritage and Culture Month. I respectfully and humbly urge all residents in our fine city to please join me in observing this special day and this special month, and I proudly sign it today, the 11th day of October in the year 2024. Jackie, thank you.
Rocky Marciano was a member of our lodge, by the way, so we're proud of that.
Can we get a picture of what we're doing? At this time, I'm going to ask any and all members of the lodge to please come and jointly raise the flag, and I would ask the granddaughter of Jackie to lead the distribution.
Come on, Abby. She may have a pompous name, but you're an Italian, right?
So before we conclude, yesterday was a really great day in the city of Brockton. We did a ribbon cutting to reopen Brockton Hospital Signature Healthcare that had been closed for 18 months because of the fire. And I said this from the podium the other day. There's a gentleman here today, proud Italian-American, graduate of Brockton High, that saved lives that day, and that's Chief Brian Nardelli. I was there that day when the chief called me and said, Mayor, we have a little issue, and little was a big issue. But the chief, through his calm demeanor, his expertise and professionalism, I watched him, and it was like a master at work, and he was able to delegate and dictate, and without the efforts of Brian Nardelli that day, people would have died, and that's a fact. I kept asking him that day, because I don't know anything about firefighting, and I didn't want to bother him, and I literally just kind of stood off because I'm letting the professionals do their job, but there was something I kept hearing. Kept hearing a pounding every couple minutes, and I finally said to Chief, I said, Brian, Chief, what is that? And he said to me, Bob, do you know the movie back in the day, because we're about the same age, called Backdraft with Kurt Russell? And I do remember that movie. And he said, that's what that is. If those fire doors do not hold up, unfortunately, the fire is going to go up and people are going to perish quickly upstairs. I thank God was with us that day. But Brian has been recognized nationally for his efforts. And it wasn't just him. It was his team. It was the Brockton Fire Department, the men and women that come each and every day. And a lot of them are proud Italian Americans as well. And we had many visitors from our neighboring communities, and they were able to evacuate 182 people, including 2 women in active labor, without any injury that day. So I know he's a man of few words, but I want Brian Nardelli to come up here to give his thoughts on this special month of Italian heritage. He is someone that loves being Italian. His wife is... Many of us had the honor and privilege to have Dr. Fran Ficero as our primary care physician. And Dr. Ficero and his brother Bobby, the dentist, Booch, was my dentist. And Brian married Ann Ficero. And so when you have a Nardelli and a Ficero, that's a recipe for success. So, Chief, please come to the podium.
Well, Mayor, thank you. I'm a proud Italian. My family and I just recently went down to Ellis Island. I talked about this recently, and we actually, my son is really into ancestry, and I had looked at a lot of things over the years, and I'll tell you, it was nice to be able to be with my children there back in August, to be able to see where my ancestors came from, what they did, how they got here, and things of that nature. I think a lot of stuff, like many proud Italian Americans, stuff was lost over the years. And I have to tell you, because of that, and I knew that growing up in my service, in the fire service, one of the biggest things when we go to a fire, and not to link that into this, but when we go to a fire, people are going to lose a beautiful Panasonic television that's on their wall. People are going to have furniture that's ruined. But some of the most important things I think that we save in people's buildings are those photos they have of their grandparents from the old country that they'll never get back, because it's not like you have them on your iPhone and or someone else has them and you share them with somebody. So I think whether that be in the early 1900s or that be today, the people that are emigrating to this country, and I think that's really important to remember. So to the mayor's point, we stress that with our group, our fire department, every day, and I think it's important, and I think they understand the value of that, because, again, every single kid we hire on the fire department has family that's immigrants that have come here, whether it be in the early 1900s or within the last few years. So, Mayor, thank you for doing this. This is very important, not only to the heritage, the Italian heritage, but I think some people, the mayor does this for so many nationalities, and I think that's very important because, again, this country's a melting pot. This city is a true melting pot. And for him to do that probably once every other week I think it's very important, so people feel like they're recognized and feel like they're seen. Because I know when my grandfather speaks of it to this day, there were no jobs for Italians, there were no jobs for Irish. There was a lot of that went on. And to now be able to see that from a different light and welcome folks to this great country, I think is important. I spoke about it recently. I spoke about the fact that when I spoke to some of my family members years ago when I was a kid, and I said to them, did you ever go back? And none of them ever went back. And they didn't go back because this was their country, and this is where opportunity was, and this was the greatest country in the world. And I think that showed pride. They were proud of their heritage, but they were very proud to be Americans as well. So thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
So Chief says that we do this on a regular basis, and we do, but there's only one day of the year we do cannolis. So there's some unbelievable Italian desserts and pastries over there. Help yourself. God bless Italy, God bless the United States, and God bless all of us here in the City of Champions. Thank you, everybody.